your side. This is KTBS 3 4 o'clock News Hour on KPXJ CW21.
Hello, everyone. I'm Nicole Cross.
And I'm Devin Patton. We thank you for joining us.
We start the news at 4 with national politics. The Republican health care bill is in serious jeopardy after the Congressional Budget Office predicted it would mean millions of people losing their health insurance.
Yeah, Senate Republican leadership wants to move the bill forward, but there is some resistance within the party. Scott McLean in Washington with more.
Republicans met for lunch today to try to get their health care bill on track. But for Senate leadership, the main course included a bitter pill they didn't want to swallow.
Good afternoon, everyone.
Senate Majority Leader Mitch McConnell was forced to delay a vote on the controversial bill because he didn't have the support to move it forward.
Legislation of this complexity almost always takes longer than anybody else would hope.
The goal was to vote on the bill this week, and just this morning, House Speaker Paul Ryan said he was optimistic McConnell would get it done.
Look, I would not bet against Mitch McConnell.
But even for a seasoned lawmaker, the ideological gap with GOP holdouts was too big to bridge.
It's difficult for me to see how any tinkering is going to satisfy my fundamental and deep concerns about the impact of the bill.
Both conservative and moderate Republicans say they needed more time and more changes before they could get on board.
I believe we can get to yes. I believe we will get to yes. It's going to take more discussions.
Some Republicans were against it from the outset, but the Congressional Budget Office score did not help bring skeptics on board. The CBO predicted deficits dropping by $321 billion and premiums by 20% over the next decade. But it also forecast 22 million people would lose care over the same period.
The CBO score did not help. It didn't make Mitch's situation much easier.
In Washington, I'm Scott McLean.
A group of women has a message for senators, and it's spelled out rather succinctly, as you can see. Take a look right there. Until you walk in my panties, you are not qualified to decide on my health care. The group gathered outside Arizona Senator Jeff Flake's office in Phoenix today to protest his stance on defunding Planned Parenthood and his upcoming vote on the Senate health care bill. At last check, neither Senator Flake nor Senator McCain have said how they will vote on a new health care bill.
Health care to budget. Governor John Bel Edwards signing Louisiana's more than $28 billion state operating budget into law today ahead of the start of the new financial year on Saturday. Governor Edwards struck 4 items with his line item veto, including language that would have protected certain health services from budget cuts and would have prohibited the Civil Service Commission from blocking pay raises at Louisiana's levy districts. The budget was adopted by lawmakers on a week-long special session earlier this month after Edwards, the House, and Senate failed to reach a compromise in the regular legislative session. Okay, recently there have been incidents with traffic stops gone bad, really bad.
Really bad. And that's why the governor has recently signed 2 new bills into law that will require driving schools to include proper etiquette when pulled over. Our Bia Rodon joins us in the studio now with more on that. Bia, what can you tell us about these new bills?
Well, Nicole, Louisiana Governor John Bel Edwards just signed 2 new laws by Senator Ryan Gaddy and Representative Chad Brown. House Bill 241 makes it mandatory for driving schools to teach their students what to do and what not to do when pulled over by law enforcement, while Senate Bill 17 requires student drivers to take the courses and will be tested on the material before getting their Louisiana driver's license. The hope is to prevent routine traffic stops from escalating. I spoke to Trooper Matt Harris of the Louisiana State Police, who explained some of the most important things to keep in mind when you're stopped by any law enforcement.
Turn your radio down, roll your window down, and just sit there and wait on them to dictate to you what to do, because they may have you get out, they may have you stay in, but one things that you don't want to do is you don't want to get out and charge the unit of the police officer that's stopping you. You don't want to ignore them and only roll your window down halfway or a few inches.
Schools will have to start incorporating traffic stop etiquette in courses they teach starting August 1st. And starting January 1st of next year, the DMV will have to test driver's license applicants on their knowledge of appropriate driver conduct when stopped by a law enforcement officer. Back to you.
Bia, thanks for that. Now we'll post a copy of the bills on ktbs.com.
All right, drivers in DeSoto Parish, listen up. A second drag line, just like the one we had in May, will be crossing I-49 tonight. Here's what you need to know from 10 p.m. tonight through 6 a.m. tomorrow morning. The southbound and northbound lanes from mile marker 161 to 163 of I-49 will be closed and traffic will be detoured. Don't worry, they will have signs posted on where you need to go if you drive in that area.
All right, let's take our first look at afternoon traffic using our Waze traffic tracker. It's pretty calm out there, but there are a couple of spots that I need to tell you about. This first one here is in Shreveport, is by LSU. Shreveport, there's a little bit of traffic in that area, so be mindful of that. There's another area here by Willis Knight and Piermont, so be careful if you have to take that highway as well.
All right. Going back to Union Pacific officials teaming up today with the Hope, Arkansas Police Department to conduct railroad safety demonstrations. The goal of the program is to teach people about the dangers of the railroad and to reduce death and injuries at railroad crossings and along railroad right-of-ways. KTVS 3's Julie Parr live in Rail Yard in Texarkana, no doubt. Julie, officials there working for anyone committing a safety violation there.
Yes, that's right, Devin. Union Pacific Police say that trains can come at any time, and they're usually going much faster than people realize. Special Agent Darren Archer with the Union Pacific Railroad visited Hope, Arkansas with a message for drivers and pedestrians to follow the rules around the railroad tracks. He invited Hope law enforcement to conduct safety checks along some of the heavily traveled intersections near the downtown railroad station. Archer says once a signal is activated, that means an approaching train is coming and the driver needs to stop. Freight trains traveling 55 miles per hour take more than a mile to stop, meaning if a car or person is on the tracks, the conductor cannot instantly stop the train.
If they decide to go through and violate the law, they're endangering themselves and anybody else in that motor vehicle.
Now, officers not only issued warnings and citations to drivers around the railroad tracks today, but they also had the opportunity to ride on the train and see what the conductor sees every day. And Devin, it's worth mentioning that just within the first hour of these safety checks, officers issued about 5 warning tickets for railroad crossing violations.
All right, thank you, Julie. Of course, we know those safety checks can save lives. And officers were also watching for pedestrians walking or loitering along the tracks. Union Pacific officials say many people don't realize that railroad tracks are private property and it is illegal to trespass.
On the crime beat, police arrest a man accused of robbing a convenience store in Columbia County, Arkansas. Take a look. This is his mugshot. This is Robert Glass. He was charged with commercial burglary, breaking and entering, criminal mischief, and theft of property over $5,000. Police say Glass broke into the corner store Monday morning, stole a safe, and destroyed an ATM machine. Glass was arrested later that afternoon at a home in Taylor, Arkansas. Officials say they've recovered some items from the store.
Marshall Police Department arresting a woman after they say she left her dog in a hot vehicle with the windows rolled up. 43-year-old Namalia Pearl Thurwatcher was arrested on a charge of animal cruelty over the weekend after officers were called to the 200 block of Houston Street this past Friday in reference to that abandoned dog. Fortunately, the dog survived and is now at the animal shelter in Marshall.
It's another nice day across the Ark-La-Tex. You got a few clouds out there, but still relatively dry. That'll change as the week progresses, and the rain chance will pick up as we were discussing yesterday for the latter part of the week. But until then, status quo, some pretty nice conditions out there. 86 our current reading, winds east-northeast at 12. Humidity a relatively dry 53%. Got a few clouds here and there, as you can see there on the tower cam shot from the Bossier Boardwalk. Showers and storms staying at bay down to our south and off to our west. Here's your planning forecast. A beautiful evening with temperatures generally in the 80s through 9 o'clock, dipping into the 70s overnight. Rain chance nil and the winds fairly light. So great weather for another 24 hours, then a bit of a rain chance for us later part of the week. Still looks good for the 4th. We'll discuss that in your 7-day outlook in a few moments. Back to you.
Thanks, Joe.
Okay.
Yeah, it wasn't bad out there today, but temperatures are rising and medical professionals want you to protect yourself from heat-related illnesses. Our Jasmine Craychan is in Marshall, Texas with some tips on how to beat the summer heat. Hey there, Jasmine.
Hey Nicole, so thankfully we are not experiencing a hot summer so far, but officials here in Marshall, Texas are reminding us to take precautions. Now I spoke to a couple people who did say that the elderly and young children are those who are most at risk this summer of getting a heat-related illness such as heat exhaustion or heat stroke. Now here's a little reminder, if you are going to your car, you may not realize how hot it is until you go inside. Temps inside can be hotter than outside. Now unfortunately, such as these guys out here at this construction site, most of us do have to go out in hot conditions at times, so you have to take a few steps to protect yourself, such as wearing lightweight, light-colored, loose-fitting clothing, staying cool, take as many breaks as you can, and of course, staying hydrated. Now the Marshall EMS chief says, always be aware of all symptoms, even small ones such as sunburns.
That person, you want to just remove them from the outdoors, get them in the shade, start cooling them down, have that person start drinking some fluids, preferably water, and not try to stay away from alcohol, caffeine, and heavy sweet drinks. Stay away from sodas, carbonated drinks.
Now officials say if you do see someone suffering from a heat-related illness, take immediate action and call 911. And of course, like I said earlier, if you are going to be outside all day, make sure to stay hydrated. Live in Marshall, Texas, Jasmine Craychan, KTBS 3 News.
A great reminder, Jasmine. Thanks for that. And remember, you can always get the latest heat index plus heat advisories and warnings on KTBS.com, the KTBS 3 weather app, and our 24-hour weather channel.
All right, I think the latest I heard is that we're going to get some great weather for the KTBS 3 KPXJ CW21 Independence Day Festival. You know, it's just about a week away, and it promises a whole lot of fun for the entire family, especially the kids. We have a special children's play area in Riverview Hall from 2 until 6 o'clock with lots of inflatable slides, bouncy things, face painting, and a whole lot more. It's sponsored by AEP SWEPCO and the Warrior Network, and it's inside, so even if it gets a little too hot, the kids will be protected there from the heat. Join us on the riverfront as we celebrate our nation's birthday.
See, that's where I was going to be stationed, but now they've moved me, so whoever's going to be there is going to have a really good time.
You know they are.
Absolutely. We've got more news on the way. The family of Alton Sterling has filed a lawsuit.
Yeah, and it covers multiple areas, including the city of Baton Rouge and the police department. Next at 4, we hear from the family's attorney as to why that suit was filed.
Little League officials endure verbal abuse from passionate parents, which has led to a shortage of referees in many areas.
Once you start chattering with a parent, it just escalates.
TW Star goes in depth on the youth referees of Shreveport-Bossier, Wednesday at 4 on KPXJ.
Checking your news state by state this afternoon, the children of a black man who was gunned down by a white police officer in Baton Rouge. Well, they filed a suit with the city claiming that the shooting fit a pattern of racist behavior and excessive force by its officers. Attorneys for Alton Sterling's 5 children filed a wrongful death lawsuit today in state court against the city of Baton Rouge, its police department, the police chief, and the 2 officers involved in last July's deadly encounter.
That this lawsuit is about the children. This isn't about should the officers go to jail. This is about resolving a case for the children that no longer have a father.
The family's lawsuit claims Officer Blaine Solomon's shooting of Sterling was the product of poor training and inadequate police procedures.
The family of a Little Rock teen missing for more than a year and a half is now increasing the reward for help finding her. Abby Stepach's family says the reward is now at $50,000 for information leading to her being found. Abby was last seen October 24th, 2015. She was 18 years old at the time. Her vehicle was found several days later at Chalamont Park in West Little Rock, but there was no trace of the missing teen.
Firefighters battled a fire at a shopping mall in downtown San Antonio today. Take a look at it. The fire broke out at the Shops at River Center. Thick black smoke could be seen coming from the roof of the mall at one point. Officials said the fire started in some air ducts between the 2 restaurants. Most of the mall and nearby hotel evacuated. Thankfully, no injuries reported there.
So glad no injuries.
Yeah.
All right, well, up next, we've got the video that's going viral.
A customer upset in a restaurant drive-thru goes on a beating rampage on the business's owner. Now we hear from the people in that community that made sure to show up and support that local business.
Plus, a seemingly normal plane ride turns into an impromptu party. And here's a hint. Happy birthday. Keep it here for that and more. Born on the
Now, KTBS 3 News continues.
Movement restricted this afternoon at the Redstone Arsenal and Army Base in Huntsville, Alabama, as authorities investigated morning reports of an active shooter. The potential active shooter incident was in the Sparkman Center building, according to the base's Facebook page. A Redstone spokesman says authorities have not confirmed whether there was a gunman on the grounds and that no one was in custody as of this time.
When you're shooting fireworks, you're supposed to be having a good time, but 2 people were shot overnight as people were leaving a Detroit fireworks show. Take a look. This was the scene here. Police say both a man and a woman were shot, but they are expected to survive. Police say the shooting stemmed from an argument and the search is on for 3 suspects.
Now to a tragic story in Michigan. 3-year-old twin boys and their 46-year-old grandmother killed in a house fire in Detroit. The boy's 4-year-old cousin is in critical condition with 2nd and 3rd degree burns. Fire crews say it appears the fire started in the home's kitchen overnight. The exact cause is still under investigation.
Meanwhile, more than a dozen people rushed off a tour bus in downtown St. Louis early Tuesday morning after the back of the bus caught fire. It was carrying members of 2 bands on their way to Nashville. One of the passengers, a guitarist, smelled smoke, saw flames, and then yelled fire. Everyone got out okay, but a lot of instruments and merchandise on the bus probably scorched there. No word yet on how much damage was done or what even caused that fire. And the search continues for 2 people who attacked a restaurant owner and her daughter over a food order near Savannah, Georgia. The video of that attack going viral, and now people all across that area showing their support for the business and its owner. Dale Kennedy reports.
The violent assault that happened here Thursday afternoon and has gone viral around the world has done nothing to cut into business here in Baxley. In fact, more and more customers are coming here to show their support.
They waited in the drive-thru to get food and check on the staff that doubles as friends and neighbors.
How important was it to come by here and get lunch today?
Very important. Support them, be there for them.
The security video, now seen worldwide, shows the owner assaulted by a dissatisfied customer and her daughter decked by another.
It's bad. I don't see why nobody would do a nice lady like that.
Ben Gaskin was just passing through today.
To see that video for the first time, what did you think?
I think it was totally wrong. Should be something done about it. Man, that's not how people should handle things in life.
Baxley's police chief tells me besides U.S. Marshals now in the search, local citizens have approached him to offer a $2,000 reward in the case.
Coming straight from the citizens of this Appleton County and Baxley that we live in. This community, as a result of this, has grown together and they've all banded together.
Owner Jeanette Norris says she's been overwhelmed by people outraged by the attack.
There's still good people out there. I know there's the bad ones too, but the good ones is making up for it.
Dale Kennedy reporting. Now, a Phoenix mom is speaking publicly after giving birth on board a Spirit Airlines flight. Christina Pinson was en route from Fort Lauderdale to Dallas Saturday night when she started having contractions. The flight was promptly diverted to New Orleans, and a pediatrician and nurse who were on board helped with the delivery.
The water broke within 50 minutes, and then 10 minutes after the water broke, the baby was pretty much out. So it went really, really quick. There was no time to prepare or land or do anything. He did what he wanted. We were just all along for the ride, I think. So.
Yeah, when they're ready, they're ready. Right now, both mom and baby are recovering at a New Orleans area hospital. In a statement, Spirit Airlines says although it deals with medical emergencies regularly on its flights, this was much different.
I think that'll be the only baby that can say I was born in the spirit. Spirit Airlines, get it? All right. After the break, we head outside where the temperatures, they are heating up.
That's right. All eyes are on the skies as we inch closer to the holiday weekend. Stay tuned. Joe Haynes is up next, and Devin has more jokes. We'll be right back.
Born in the spirit.
Now with Mega 3 and your Storm Team forecast, here's meteorologist Joe Haynes in the Storm Team 3 Weather Lab.
All right, folks, a sunny afternoon across the Arklatex. Happy Tuesday to you. Let's talk about your local weather. First, tower cam shot from the Bossier Boardwalk. That's downtown Shreveport, in case you didn't notice, or you're new to the area. It's a pretty sight. Got a few clouds out there, but otherwise decent weather. 86 our current temperature. It feels like 89. Winds out of the northeast at about 12 miles an hour. Humidity not terrible out there at 53%. We've had higher, especially last week when the remnants of Tropical Storm Cindy rolled through. It's in the upper 80s in Texarkana, Ruston, Natchitoches, pretty much across the board. You're looking at temperatures generally getting up there close to 90. 88's been the highest so far in Shreveport. 69 the low, 72 the 92 is an average day for us. So this will go down into the record books most likely as a slightly cool day for us. And you know, it's kind of nice, especially as we're heading on into July, to have some below average temperatures around here. 68 to 93, the temperature range so far for Russell Touch out in Bossier City, and he's had a dry day for us. Thanks for that information there, Russell. Got a few high clouds from some thunderstorms in central Texas. Got a couple of showers and thunderstorms down to our south. Nothing that's really working over the Arklatex right now. Not a great chance we'll see anything. Most likely decent weather through tonight across Shreveport, Bossier. 89 at 5 o'clock. The lower 80s at 9 o'clock will be in the 70s from 11 on into the wee hours of the morning. Light southeast winds. Should be some generally nice weather. Slight possibility of rain in western and southern areas for tonight. That's mainly during the evening. Not anticipating more than that. Slight chance of rain just because those showers and a few thunderstorms are so close to Toledo Bend country there. And for tomorrow, a very slim possibility, mainly southern parts of the Arklatex that will have any kind of a chance of rain. Got a little frontal boundary that's down south and also a little weather disturbance nearby too that's helping to kick off those showers and storms. But north of the frontal boundary is still comfortable and dry. 86 there in Memphis. Of course, we're in the 80s here. It's in the 90s though as you head into Texas, but last week it was in the 100s, so that's a nice change. As we go through the evening, once again, it'll be pretty nice for us. 79 at 10 o'clock tonight, upper 60s to lower 70s on your Wednesday morning, and then we're in the lower 90s for the afternoon. Slight chance of showers and thunderstorms, but nothing out of the ordinary. Should be a pretty decent day. Here's your 7-day forecast. Now, rain chance will increase a little bit as you get into your Thursday and Friday, even Saturday. Some weather disturbances move by. The sea breeze will kick up a few showers and storms. The humidity is back. So highs near 90, lows in the mid 70s. But then we dry out those to get into the first of next week, and that does include the 4th of July. Still looking for a high temperature about 93 and a low of 75. So happy July 4th. It's just a week away.
It will be happy, won't it?
Yeah, happy.
Looking forward to that. Thanks so much, Joe.
Okay.
All right, celebrate our freedom and show your support for those who fought for our freedom.
Who are you carrying?
That's the question that inspired a national effort to honor America's war heroes. It's called Carry the Load, and we invite you to pack a bag and join us Saturday, July 1st. We'll start at the stage at Riverview Park and head on over to the Eagle and Clyde Fant Parkway, where we'll place flags and then head back. You can find out more and register at ktbs.com.
Coming up, play ball. I always wanted to say that. It's game 2 for the LSU Tigers in the College World Series.
Yes, can't wait. Tonight's game is a must-win for the boys in the purple and gold. We go live to Omaha, where you can catch the game here in town. Coming up next.
KTBS 3 News continues.
Welcome back, everybody. I'm Devin Patton.
And I'm Nicole Cross. We thank you for staying with us. LSU is gearing up for the biggest and possibly the last game of their season at the College World Series.
Yes, they are. That's right. After falling to Florida in game one. Oh, that was so close, too. That was a close game.
Yeah.
The Tigers are playing now. They're playing for their lives tonight. Let's head on over to Omaha now with Tatum Everett joining us live now with more.
All right, Tatum, LSU is facing elimination, but that's nothing new for the purple and gold, right?
Yes, Nicole, you got that one right. Now, the song that was just playing here over the speakers here at TD Ameritrade Park was The House is a Rockin'. But obviously right now it's just under preparations for tonight's Game 2 of the College World Series final. LSU and Florida will go at it again now. LSU feeling a lot more confident this time around because they've got the winningest pitcher in Tigers baseball history on the mound tonight, Jared Poche. We'll have more on him later on tonight on KTBS News at 6 o'clock. But for now, you know, as you said earlier, Nicole, the Tigers have faced elimination before. They went to the losers bracket after losing in their Game 2 against Oregon State and fought their way into this World Series final. So Coach Mainieri is very confident in what the Tigers can bring to the table tonight.
We've already had 3 elimination games where we've had our back against the wall and we've played well and got the job done. And so now we're going to deal with it again. We're going to have to do it the hard way. But we're confident. You know, we still have Jared Poche and Alex Lang available. Zach Hess has an extra day's rest. He should be fine and ready to go. I think probably Caleb Gilbert even could give us something out of the bullpen. He came to me today before the game and said, I feel great. If you need me, I'm ready to give you something. I wasn't going to do it today, but maybe with another day's rest, or if it's not until Wednesday, you know, he'd be able to give us something. So, you know, we're down, but we're not out. And our kids are going to fight right to the very end.
And they certainly have the home crowd behind them. Yesterday's attendance was a clear LSU advantage. There were a ton of purple and gold fans in the stands, very loud fan sections everywhere. And when you walk around the city of Omaha, you really only see purple and gold fans, which is going to be great if the Tigers really want to fend off the Gators tonight and keep this series and their season alive. I know there are a lot of fans here in Omaha, but we have a ton of Tiger fans back home in the Shreveport-Bossier area, even in the Ark-La-Tex. And so we're going to head out to Alex Anderson, who is going to be spending some time with some pretty excited LSU fans.
Yeah, absolutely. Tatum, you mentioned the song in Omaha. The song that just went off here at the Walk-Ons in Shreveport was Are You Gonna Go My Way? And the LSU fans here certainly hoping tonight's game goes their way, or that's it. Of course, it's a little calm before the storm right now here at Walk-Ons, but here in the next hour or so, we expect a flood of purple and gold coming in here. We got a ton of TVs, big screens here ready to go. They actually just showed the ending of Game 1, but I'm sure LSU fans don't want to see that. Now, most of the fans I've spoken to have asked me one question. Why in the world did we not see Jared Poche last night? Well, I think Tatum kind of touched on it, but look at the situation here. So you lose Game 1, but Florida threw one of their best guys. Now you've got Poche and Lang, arguably 2 of the best pitchers in the country, going back-to-back if you do get that Game 3. So I understand Mainieri wanting to put a little faith in his big guns because, look, they've got him this far. Poche's won more games than anyone in an LSU jersey on the mound. So we're certainly looking forward to that. Nicole and Devin, we're going to send it back to you as we're still waiting on the crowd to get here, but certainly going to be a fun scene all around Shreveport area. There's nothing but Tiger fans around here rooting for the purple and gold to take that national championship.
All right, thank you, Double A, for that. Of course, it's going to be a good time for everybody, and hopefully the Tigers can pull out a really nice win.
All right, weather-wise around here, we got some beautiful conditions outside. Here's our tower cam shot once again from Bossier side of the Red River, looking at downtown Shreveport. All right, currently it's 86 outside, a few clouds around, sun shining through those clouds, and relatively dry, 53% humidity. Got a few more clouds out west due to some thunderstorms. They're not advancing toward us though, and thunderstorms down to our south are having a tough time moving into our fairly stable atmosphere. Should be pretty nice for the evening and even overnight. Light east to southeast winds, still rather comfortable out there for one more day. Your 7-day forecast coming up.
Thanks so much, Joe. A violent weekend followed by a serious discussion on crime by the city. Shreveport is moving to put more officers on the streets and more money in their pockets. KZBS 3's Amanda Adwell is at the Shreveport City Council meeting right now where the conversation is expected to continue. Amanda, what has been discussed so far?
Well, Nicole, one citizen did approach the council stating that he hopes they pass this item and continue to take a more aggressive approach on crime so they can better patrol the streets of Shreveport. Now, the council is considering a extra $150,000 for the department's budget, which could mean more overtime for patrol officers. Through the beginning of June, the department spent more than $280,000 on overtime for patrol officers. Deputy Chief Bill Gooden does not know yet how many more officers that extra money could potentially put on patrol. Yesterday, both Police Chief Alan Crump and the mayor addressed the uptick of violent crime, announcing a new program called Operation Long Haul to help tackle the issue. Not many details are available about the new program yet, but they did just vote to introduce this legislation, and they did unanimously vote to introduce it, but they will not take a final vote until after July 11th. Back to you, Nicole.
All right, Amanda, thanks so much for that information. And we want you to be sure to tune in tonight at 5 and 6 for the latest from that city council meeting.
A proposed medical school in Monroe could offer an alternative path to healthcare careers. Within 2 years, the University of Louisiana at Monroe could offer a doctoral degree in osteopathy. Now, osteopathy involves the same scientific foundation as MD programs operated LSU medical schools in Shreveport and New Orleans. But there are some differences in how each program approaches patient care. MDs focus on diagnosing and treating symptoms or illnesses, while osteopathic doctors may look at the whole patient.
The DO philosophy, and again, speaking from an MD side, they would say that they have a greater holistic approach, that they look at how the different systems work and intertwine with each other.
Now, Eggerstedt says doctors of osteopathy have residency and certification requirements, just like doctors who earn an MD degree.
Still ahead, one social media platform reaches a new milestone.
We are talking about the social network, Facebook, and just how many members it has. All right. Chances are you're one of now 2 billion people who use Facebook every month or every day. CEO Mark Zuckerberg shared the milestone Tuesday morning. He said the social network is making progress on its goal to go beyond just connecting people online. Last week, Zuckerberg announced Facebook's new mission statement to give people the power to build community and bring the world closer together.
Well, Sprint is in talks with Comcast and Charter Communications. The Wall Street Journal first reported the talks, saying it could bolster the cable company's plans to offer wireless service. The discussions are expected to go through July. Sprint is the country's #4 wireless carrier. And up next, we've got another check on the forecast.
Yeah, right on schedule. The high temperatures for one of the warmest months of the year, no doubt. And maybe hitting at the first of the month. We'll check in with Joe Haynes after the break.
Fireworks can add fun to your 4th of July, but if handled incorrectly, they can lead to serious injury.
Fireworks are very dangerous. They are explosives.
Kirsten Holmes goes in depth on what you need to know to keep your family safe this Independence Day. Thursday at 4 on KPXJ. Now with Mega 3 and your Storm Team forecast, here's meteorologist Joe Haynes in the Storm Team 3 Weather Lab.
All right, folks, another check on your local weather. Just gorgeous outside. Got a few clouds, but otherwise comfortable for this time of year. Here's our current temperature readings across our Arklatex. 88 there in Ruston, mid-80s over in the Natchitoches area, 87 down in Hemphill. Upper 80s in East Texas from Nacogdoches through Marshall, Mount Pleasant. As you can see on the board, pretty much the mid to upper 80s there, 88 in Texarkana and 87 for you folks in El Dorado. Weather Watch reports, who have we got here? Mr. Bill Hicks, Lone Star, Texas, started out near 70, topped out at 88 so far this afternoon. And it's been a dry day for him. There's been some thunderstorms out to his west and over toward the Dallas-Fort Worth Metroplex, but nothing in our area. We're still in a fairly stable atmosphere behind a cold front that came through over the weekend, so that's keeping the thunderstorms at bay. So not a very good chance that we'd have anything move our way, and if it does, it most likely would dissipate before it ever got too far into our area. And these rain chances are mainly just for the early evening. And that's not much to say there, 10 to 20% possibility. And same goes for tomorrow. Not a great possibility of significant rain, still about a 20% 20% chance down in Toledo Bend. Got some showers and thunderstorms along the coast, and that's along that frontal boundary there. Behind the front, quite comfortable from the coast all the way up towards Chicago, 76 there. Omaha's at 82. Now out west though, where the front's not hanging out, where you've got summertime in full force, it's 107 right now there in Phoenix. Back home, just slight possibility of a stray shower or a thunderstorm as we make it through the 7 o'clock hour. And then overnight, probably the upper 60s to lower 70s for minimum temperature. Should be a pretty nice night. And then tomorrow, about the same weather as today, although a little more moisture around, a little more humidity, and it may actually heat up slightly as we get into the afternoon, but doesn't appear to be a washout for us. 70, the overnight low here, light winds, just partly cloudy and mild. Looks like for tomorrow, lower 90s, very limited chance of rain, wind southeast of 5 to 10. Now, that southeast wind will start increasing our humidity, and thus you'll notice some big changes as we head through the latter part of the week. 30% chance of showers and storms on Thursday. Now, it's a 30% odds that you'll have something, leaves and puddles at your location. So it doesn't appear to be a washout, but can't rule out some scattered activity. Just a slight chance there on Friday. Same goes as you get into your Saturday. Highs near 90, lows in the mid-70s, so considerably more humid during that period. And as we get into the latter part of the weekend, first of next week, all the way through the July 4th holiday, right now it looks like some decent weather, just average Joe weather conditions. Highs in the 90s and nighttime temperatures in the mid-70s.
I like average Joe weather.
Why, thank you.
Yeah, I like it.
Though,
it's mild.
Yeah. Even though
no
he
extremes.
is no average Joe.
Well, you guys are so nice. Thank you.
Super Joe right here.
Super Joe giving us average Joe weather.
I
Gotta
feel good
love
now.
it.
I'm just gonna, I think I'll just go home now.
No.
It feels so good. You know, take a vacation.
Because he's so Joe cool. You know.
It's not over. You can't go. You have to stick around because we have some health news coming up.
That's right. Well, yeah.
Yeah, that's coming up.
Gotta check that out.
And today we're talking about a new study involving safe sex.
Yeah, teenagers today making up a group of young people that practice safe sex the most. The details just around the corner.
Now, with the latest developments in the world of medicine, this is Health Watch 3.
A new study from the CDC finds that many American teenagers are engaging in sexual activity, but those that do are more likely to use protection than ever before. Kim Hutcherson explains.
Contraception use among sexually active teenagers is higher now than it was in the late 80s. That's one of the findings from the National Survey of Family Growth, which is administered by the Centers for Disease Control and Prevention. Since 1988, the CDC has been tracking the sexual behaviors and activities of American teenagers between the ages of 15 and 19. Researchers interview teens in their homes, and responses are collected in complete privacy. The most recent report gathered data from more than 4,000 teenagers between 2011 and 2015. It found that while rates of sexual activity among teenagers are essentially unchanged since the late 1980s, the use of contraceptives has gone up significantly. 90% of female teenagers said they use some form of contraception, compared to 80% in 1988. And 95% of male teenagers reported contraceptive use, up from 84% 30 years ago. Condoms, the pill, and withdrawal were the most commonly used forms of birth control reported.
And it's the 25th annual National HIV Testing Day. The Philadelphia Center in Shreveport is offering free testing at 2 Walgreens locations, 3555 Greenwood Road and 9209 Mansfield Road. Testing is open until 7 tonight, so you still have some time to get out there. The test is just a prick of the finger, and it only takes 20 minutes to get your results. And if you missed today's free event, you can head over to the Philadelphia Center at 2020 Centenary, Mondays through Thursdays, Devin, from 9 to 4.
All right, thank you, Dr. Nicole, for that information.
Sure.
And coming up new tonight at 6, quieting your mind. We're also busy working, taking care of the kids or other family members. Rarely do we have a quiet time to relax and reflect for ourselves. Now, there's a gym in Texas giving you the opportunity to flex your mental muscles and improve your overall health. Tonight at 6, full details plus a breakdown of the benefits of meditation.
There is great benefit to that, actually. A lot of research backs up meditation for the mind and the body, so be sure to tune in at 6 o'clock for that.
Here we go. And stay tuned, don't go anywhere, because after the break, we are celebrating a very special day.
That's right. It's no one's birthday or anniversary, but you'll want to break out the shades for this one.
Are you throwing shade my way?
A little bit.
Logan? Okay.
Now, KTBS 3 News continues.
Okay, friends, grab your favorite pair of sunglasses.
Yeah, that's right. Go ahead and, how do they say it? Throw some shade?
A little bit.
Yeah, today's National Sunglasses Day, and according to the Vision Council, it's a day to celebrate the importance of wearing shades to protect your eyes from the sun's harsh and ultraviolet UV rays, and you can throw some shade your friend's way.
A little bit.
Give them a pair of, buy them a pair of shades, protect their eyes.
Shall I throw these your way, Joe?
Well,
you want me to hold on to them?
Yeah.
I feel like you're left
I think
out.
they look better on you.
Okay, I'll put them back on as you talk
Just
about the
smile,
weather.
Smile. Oh, hey,
Yes.
you know, cool. The ultimate.
Striking
and
the pose,
cool
yeah.
with a capital C. Cool as a cucumber.
Done.
No, you're Joe Cool.
Oh
Yeah.
no. Oh no.
With or without the
There's only
shades.
one Joe Cool.
Yeah. Isn't that Snoopy or something? Was Snoopy wearing some shades back in the day?
That's
Yeah.
true.
All right, your 7-day forecast. Decent weather through Wednesday. A little bit of a chance of rain Thursday, Friday, and Saturday, but not a washout for you. And then dry weather going into the 4th. Hot as a firecracker.
All right. We're going to leave Devin where he is, and we're going to thank you for joining us today. We will see you tomorrow, 4 o'clock. Meet us here.
I'm throwing shade your way now.
Yeah.
A big development with the GOP healthcare bill. We'll tell you why the vote's been postponed. Plus, summer heat. We've got expert tips on how to keep yourself and your loved ones safe as temperatures rise. And they're suing. The family of Alton Sterling files a civil suit in connection with his fatal shooting by Baton Rouge police officers.
Live and on your side. This is KTBS 3 News at 5.
Good evening, everyone. I'm Nicole Cross. We thank you for joining us today. Jerry May has the evening off. First at 5, a major political development. After insisting that the Senate would move forward with a vote on health care before the July 4th recess, a reversal from the Republican leadership. They're now deciding to postpone the vote. ABC's Lana Zach has more from Washington.
A major reversal.
And we're delaying the process so that we can close those remaining issues.
Senate Majority Leader Mitch McConnell says there will not be a vote on health care before July 4th.
We will not be on the bill this week, but we're still working toward getting at least 50 people in a comfortable place.
Just a few hours before, the Republican leadership was insisting that the Senate health care bill would go forward.
Well, I expect to have the support to get it done, and yes, we will vote this week.
The White House launched a full court press. President Trump even meeting privately with one of the most vocal Republican critics, Senator Rand Paul, and inviting all Republican senators to huddle at the White House to discuss their concerns. But with the nonpartisan Congressional Budget Office projecting the Senate plan would make 22 million more Americans uninsured over the next decade, 15 million more uninsured next year alone, it seems the bill couldn't withstand the growing pressure from Republican opponents. Democrats, meanwhile, have been united against the GOP health care bill.
This is not a bill of just paper and pencil. This is not just abstract numbers. These are real people.
But this isn't the end of the line for the Republican bill. McConnell says he plans to make edits and bring it back after Independence Day.
And as the Republican leadership tries to make its way forward, their fundamental question will be this: will they align themselves more closely with moderate members of their party, like Susan Collins, who wants to work together with Democrats to try and fix some of the problems in Obamacare, or will they align themselves with more conservative members like Rand Paul? Reporting from Washington, Lana Zak, ABC News.
Summer heat dangers. It's our other big story this evening. Many people are outside working or enjoying some fun in the sun, but it's important to stay protected while doing so. Our Jasmine Crachan is standing by in Marshall, Texas with a few helpful tips to beat the summer heat. Hey there, Jasmine.
Hey there, Nicole. So last time I checked the temperature here in Marshall, Texas, it was about 87 degrees, which means we're not experiencing those hot summer temperatures just yet, but that doesn't mean we're out of the woods. Now, I spoke to the Marshall EMS chief here who says be aware of a few symptoms such as cramping, fainting, and exhaustion, because you could be experiencing heat exhaustion or heat stroke, which could affect your organs and brain and possibly lead to death. Now, he says children and the elderly are the ones who are most at risk of heat-related illnesses. He says when it comes to children, don't keep them outside without taking a few breaks from the heat. Now, most of us do have to go outside in these hot conditions, such as these construction workers, so you need to take a few extra steps to protect yourself, such as wearing light-colored or loose-fitting clothing. The construction safety manager says they do take a few extra precautions during the summer to protect their workers.
The supervisors are watching those and making sure they take the breaks they need to take, and also that they're keeping themselves hydrated. We have coolers out here, as well as they all carry water and that sort of thing to do that.
Now, officials say if you do notice someone suffering from a heat-related illness, take immediate action and call 911. And of course, remain hydrated. Live in Marshall, Texas, Jasmine Crachan, KTBS 3 News.
Jasmine, thanks for those in details. And remember, you can always get the latest heat index plus heat advisories and warnings on KTBS.com, the KTBS 3 weather app, and our 24-hour weather channel. And staying in Marshall, Texas, a pet survives the sweltering heat, but its owner is now behind bars. Police arrested 43-year-old Namalia Thurwatcher of Haltom City for animal cruelty. They say she left her dog in a hot car with the windows up. The dog survived and is now at Marshall Animal Shelter under quarantine. We head now to the courts. The family of the man shot by a police officer in our state's capital filed a civil suit today against the city of Baton Rouge. The suit claims the shooting fits a pattern of racist behavior and excessive force by police. Attorney Chris Stewart says Alton Sterling's 5 children filed a wrongful death lawsuit in state court against the city, its police department, the police chief, plus the 2 officers involved in last summer's deadly encounter. Stewart says this suit has nothing to do with the criminal case.
People say, oh, the DOJ didn't do anything. Why even file a civil suit? Totally different situations. Civil suit is for the children and for the community in Baton Rouge.
We also filed what's called a survival action, which we believe that those last 3 shots were excessive, and they caused Mr. Sterling to suffer.
Now, Sterling was shot by Officer Blaine Salamone 6 times during a struggle outside a convenience store last July. The Justice Department investigated and announced last month that it will not file charges against Salamone or Officer Howie Lake II. Governor John Bel Edwards has signed Louisiana's more than $28 billion state operating budget into law ahead of the Saturday start of the new fiscal year. The Democratic governor struck 4 items with his line item veto. Those vetoed items included language limiting how Louisiana's health department can make budget reductions and prohibiting the Civil Service Commission from blocking pay raises at Louisiana's levy districts. Also, Governor Edwards also signed 2 new laws by Senator Ryan Gotti and Representative Chad Brown. House Bill 241 makes it mandatory for driving schools to teach their students what to do and what not to do when pulled over by law enforcement. while Senate Bill 17 requires student drivers to take the course and be tested on the material before getting their Louisiana driver's license. The hope is to prevent routine traffic stops from escalating. Trooper Matt Harris of the Louisiana State Police explains some of the most important things to keep in mind when you're stopped by a law enforcement officer.
Turn your radio down, roll your window down, and just sit there and wait on them to dictate to you what to do, because they may have you get out, they may have you stay in, but one things that you don't want to do is you don't want to get out and charge the unit of the police officer that's stopping you. You don't want to ignore them and only roll your window down halfway or a few inches.
Schools will have to start incorporating traffic stop etiquette in courses they teach starting August 1st. And starting January 1st of next year, the DMV will have to test driver's license applicants on their knowledge of appropriate driver conduct when stopped by a law enforcement officer. Well, a violent weekend followed by a serious discussion on crime by the city. Shreveport is moving to put more officers on the streets and more money in their pockets. One citizen has voiced concern to the council about the rise in crime, and his request was that the city pass the measure on its agenda and continue an aggressive approach in giving the police department what they need. City council members are considering an extra $150,000 for the department's budget, which could mean more overtime for patrol officers. Now, they voted unanimously to introduce the police budget item, but it will not be voted for full approval until July 11th. Now to some sports. LSU is on the brink of elimination at the College World Series after dropping Game 1 to Florida last night. But the Tigers have been in this situation before. For more on that, let's head live to Daniel Brown in Omaha. Hey, Daniel.
Hey, Nicole, yeah, you mentioned the Tigers have been in this situation before. They were in the winner's bracket game facing Oregon State after beating Florida State in their opening game of the College World Series, and then suffered that big 13-1 loss. And since then, the Tigers rattled off 3 elimination game victories in a row until last night's loss to Florida. But the Tigers are confident in their pitching staff, and second baseman Cole Freeman spoke about that following last night's loss to the Gators.
I mean, it's kind of the same thing we went through with Oregon State. You know, backs against the wall, one game, and you know it's over for us. We like the last time we had Poche come out, then you know Lang, and then obviously Gilbert. But you know what you're going to get from those guys. They're going to be consistent. They're not going to give them much. We got to play great D, and then you know we just got to take care of the offensive side. I mean, that's a tough game, obviously. Yeah, obviously we would like to win it, but yeah, I mean we're feeling pretty good right now. We're all right.
Now you hear Cole talking about the offense. He's not been doing very well at the plate, hitting sub 200 in the College World Series, but overall this season he's a 300 hitter, so he's going to be wanting to get back on the right track in terms of the bat hitting the ball out here in Omaha. And fans are starting to stream into TD Ameritrade Park, and I know Alex Anderson is going to be surrounded by some fans back at the Arklatex at the Louisiana home base. A lot of LSU fans in the Bayou State. Alex, what do you have down there?
Yeah, Dan, holding down the home base here. Not as lucky as you and Tatum out there in Omaha, but certainly gearing up for a great time here at the Walk-Ons here on Uri Drive. A lot of fans expected to be here. We still got about 2 hours before the game, so we haven't seen the numbers quite yet, but I just was speaking to the manager out here. He said there was going to be a ton of people in this bar area. He got a ton of huge TVs out here ready to watch this thing. And as I was kind of talking about earlier, at 4 o'clock, all the fans that I've spoken to have kind of really been asking, why in the world didn't they throw a guy like Poche in Game 1? Do you play a game to lose like that? My answer is no. You hope you can win with a Russell Reynolds on the mound. But look, tonight you got Jared Poche, the winningest pitcher of LSU history, against Johnny Holstaff in Florida. You like that chance. And then if you win this game, you got arguably one of the best pitchers in the country in Alex Lang for a winner-take-all matchup. What's wrong with that, right? So LSU fans still breathing a little easily tonight, as we still got some time here, and hopefully they can pull this thing out, force a Game 3. But like I said, Jared Poche on the mound, Nicole, certainly a reason for Tiger fans to be confident
And we'll check back in with you at 6 o'clock and see if we can speak to some of those fans a little later.
All right, Alex, my fingers are crossed. I'm rooting for the Tigers. Now, fans will pack into walk-ons in Shreveport tonight to watch the game, which starts at 7 o'clock. We're all pulling for the Tigers to bring back a win. And still to come, some national headlines, harsh accusations against Syria, and a warning to the country's president from the U.S. Plus, scary moments for some New York subway passengers. A train derailment under investigation now in Harlem. But first, here at home, Joe's up next with a look at your Storm Team forecast. Keep it here.
If your mind is unhealthy, your physical body's going to be unhealthy.
Stress can lead to many physical issues, but there is a way to cope.
That naturally will lower heart rate. It will naturally lower your blood pressure.
Dr. Nicole Cross goes in depth on the documented benefits of meditation tonight at 6. Now with Mega 3 and your Storm Team forecast, here's meteorologist Joe Haynes in the Storm Team 3 Weather Lab.
All right, folks, good afternoon. Hope your Tuesday's going well for you. Here's a look at what's going on with our local weather. Tower cam shot from the Bossier Boardwalk. Of course, you got downtown Shreveport in the background. Also, we have a few clouds in the sky, but otherwise decent weather. 88, that's our current temperature. Winds out of east at 11. Humidity is a relatively dry 51%. Could be a whole lot more muggy like it was last week. I think we'll get there. It's typical to have very humid conditions in these parts during the summer. Another day or so and we'll be there, unfortunately, unless you like it muggy. 87 the current temperature in Ruston, upper 80s in Natchitoches, mid 80s Hemphill, upper 80s across East Texas, up in Oklahoma, Idabel at 88. Texarkana is there, and you got 87 over in El Dorado. As for today, 69 to 88's been the temperature span. 72 to 92 is an average day, so below average. I don't think too many people are complaining because you know how hot it can get here in the Arklatex during the summer. Rainfall, even with last week's big tropical downpours, we're actually a little bit behind, and for the year we're still behind. So behind for the month and behind for the year. But the ground is saturated, so it's feast or famine. Some folks got too much, some didn't get all that much, but still we've had plenty of rain here in recent times, most folks. Thomas Ware, Emerson, Arkansas, Weather Watcher reporting 64 to 91, temperature span for him. And it was a dry day out his way. Rain, there's a little bit out west. Got the clouds drifting in toward our area and down to the south, also some showers and storms. Nothing real close by, and not anticipating any significant rain to give us a washout for the evening. Should be in the upper 80s through 6 o'clock, 84 there at about 8 o'clock, 70s from 10 o'clock into the overnight hours. We'll have a few clouds here and there, and winds will be light and southeasterly, becoming calm as we head toward dawn. So in general, it looks like some pretty nice weather as we make it through the evening. Across the remainder of the Ark-La-Tex, rain chance again not all that impressive. Slight possibility down toward Toledo Bend Dam, and more of the same for tomorrow. Just a slight chance that we'll have measurable rain mainly across southern sections, and Precision Cast kind of shows everybody generally in the 60s to near 70 by tomorrow morning, and then we're topping out in the lower 90s, and again that rain chance very low as we make it through your Wednesday. Okay, 7-day forecast. We'll actually pick up the possibility of rain does come back into play there for the Ark-La-Tex for Thursday, high of 89. Slight chances to get into your Friday. Notice the nighttime temperatures really coming up, so that means the humidity's back, and we could have a little bit of rain. It's not a washout, but the next few, Thursday through Saturday, highs in the 90s, lows in the 70s, almost typical summertime weather. And then we'll dry out a little bit from Sunday into Monday, and of course the 4th of July, which is Tuesday, and that does bode well because we have our big Independence Day festival, and we're going to be there having fun. You guys need to come join us.
We definitely want you to come out, and so far so good weather-wise. That's a good thing, Joe.
Yeah.
Thanks so much for that.
You bet.
We've got news making headlines overseas coming up. That includes intense fighting in the Philippines, why some families have gotten caught up in the battles. Plus, find out which countries are the worst when it comes to human trafficking. The results of a new study when we return. Don't go far.
Now, KTBS 3 News continues.
A stern warning today from the White House to Syrian President Bashar al-Assad. The Trump administration is accusing Syria of preparing to carry out another chemical attack like the one in April that killed 87 civilians.
The activity we have seen at Shayrat in the last couple of days is associated with chemical weapons handling at a known spot on that base, a known aircraft shelter that's used for chemical weapons.
The Pentagon says the Syrian Air Force base used in the April attack is once again active. Syria has strongly denied that it used any chemical weapons in April or that they are planning to use them in the future. And closer to home, scary moments for some New York City subway passengers when a train derailed in Harlem this morning. It caused a power outage and suspended service on 4 lines. Heavy smoke could also be seen inside the train. At least 3 passengers are being treated for minor smoke inhalation. No other injuries were reported. Right now, officials are investigating. More world news. The rise of ISIS in the Philippines has forced hundreds of thousands of people from their homes, and it's left scores more wounded as the army battles to retake the southern city. Some civilians were even caught up in the intense fighting. One family had been hiding in a basement for 33 days before an 8-hour ceasefire Sunday, pierced by the sound of gunshots, allowed them to evacuate. Daily street battles and military airstrikes have left at least 280 militants, nearly 70 soldiers and police, and 26 civilians dead. Meantime, the State Department says China is among the worst offenders for human trafficking in the world. Secretary of State Rex Tillerson says a new trafficking in persons report downgrades China to Tier 3 status, the lowest level, and it puts it with the likes of Russia, Syria, and Iran. In addition to forced labor, the report points to forced begging, sex trafficking, and exploitation, also the trafficking of women, men, and children from other countries into China. Up next, it's Health Watch 3. A new medical school could be headed to Monroe, and that could have effects on Shreveport's LSU Med Center. Plus, the popular method for controlling nosebleeds, it may be all wrong. We'll explain next.
Now, with the latest developments in the world of medicine, this is Health Watch 3.
A proposed medical school in Monroe could offer another path to healthcare careers. Within 2 years, the University of Louisiana at Monroe could offer a doctoral degree in osteopathy. Now, osteopathy involves the same scientific foundation as MD programs operated by LSU medical schools in Shreveport and New Orleans, but there are differences in how each program approaches patient care. MDs may focus on diagnosing and treating physical symptoms or illnesses, while osteopathic doctors may look at the whole person.
They kind of really emphasize generalist training and generalist fields for their practitioners, and a large, more than 50%, I think, of DOs are in fact in a generalist field.
Egerstedt says doctors of osteopathy have residency and certification requirements just like doctors who earn an MD degree. And few things will stop you dead in your tracks like a bloody nose. And according to a Cleveland Clinic's doctor, the old advice about tilting your head back is not the best way to get things under control.
The actual way to stop a bloody nose is actually to lean forward and close up the nostril that is bleeding, this one or this one, right here.
Okay, so you lean forward and you sort of pinch that nose. Dr. Vaya says tilting the head back can cause blood to drip down the back of the throat, which can result in vomiting or even stomach pain. Doctors say that most bloody noses stop after about 10 minutes. So if it lasts longer, though, it's time to seek medical attention. Stay right there. When we come back, we'll take another look at the forecast.
Now, KTVS 3 News continues.
It was a pretty mild day today, weather-wise.
Well, we had a cold front come through over the weekend, and it's still giving us, a little bit below average on those temperatures. In other words, cooler than it should be. Things start changing, though, as the week progresses. The humidity comes back, and especially at night. It's been so nice in the mornings with temperatures in the 60s, but it'll start rising to the 70s, and a little bit of a rain chance, but not a washout, at least Thursday through Saturday. And then the 4th right now looking pretty good there, although, it'll be muggy like it should be for this time of year.
Okay, good. Thanks so much, Joe.
Okay.
And we thank you for watching today. Meet us back here at 6 o'clock.